I want to thank Brother Benjamin out at the outset for doing a wonderful job at opening up our eyes, giving us a good preliminary basic understanding of the aims and the objectives of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And also, I'm thankful to Allah for seeing so many out here tonight, especially just before Christmas. You know, it's next to a miracle when you get this many of our people together so close to Christmas, interested in anything whatsoever that's serious. But actually what this shows is the change that's taking place among the so-called Negroes, not only here in New York, but throughout America, throughout the entire world. Throughout the entire world today, dark mankind is waking up and undergoing a new type of thinking. And this new type of thinking is creating new approaches and new reactions that make it almost impossible to figure out what the black man is going to do next. And by black man, we mean, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we mean that this includes those who are not white. He teaches us that black is the basic color in all colors. Black is the foundation or the basis. And all of our people, or all of the people who have not yet become white, are still black, or are at least part of the black nation. So here at Muhammad's Mosque, when you hear us use the term black, we mean everybody who is here. Despite your complexion, if you're here at the mosque, you're black. Because the only ticket you need to get into Muhammad's Mosque is to be black. So if you got in, you know you're black. You may not have known you were black before you came here. In fact, very few of our people really look upon themselves as being black. They think of themselves as practically everything else on the color spectrum except black. And no matter how dark one of our people may be, you never hear him call himself black. But now that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching among the so-called Negroes, you find our people at all complexions running around here bragging about, I'm a black man. Well, this shows you that a new teaching is taking place and that there is new thinking among the so-called Negroes. If just yesterday you would have to admit that it was very difficult to get our people to refer to themselves as black, and then now all of a sudden you find all of us of all complexions not apologizing for being black, but bragging about being black. Well, there's a new thinking that has sprung up here in America among the so-called Negroes. And the one who is actually the author of this new thinking is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is what he is teaching that's making our people for the first time proud to be black. And what's most important of all, for the first time, it makes our people want to know more about black, want to know why black is good, or what there is about black that's good. I might stop right here to point out, some of you may say, well, I come out here to listen to some religion of Islam, and all I hear you talk about is black. We don't separate our religion from our color, nor do we separate our color from our religion. The white man doesn't. The white man never has separated Christianity from white, nor has he separated white from Christianity. When you hear the white man bragging about, I'm a Christian, he's bragging about he's a white man. And the average Negro, when you hear him bragging about he's a Christian, he's bragging about he's a white man. Or he wants to be white. And usually those Negroes who brag like that, I think you'll have to agree, their songs and the things that they sing in church bear out that they have a greater desire to be white than anything else. My mother was a Christian, and father was a Christian. And I used to hear them when I was a little child sing songs, Wash Me White as Snow. My father was a black man, and my mother was a black woman. But yet the songs that they sang in their church were designed to fill their heart with a desire to be white. So many people, especially our people, they would get resentful to hear us say something like this. But then, rather than get resentful, all they have to do is think back over many of the songs and much of the teaching and the doctrine that they were taught while they were going to church, and they have to agree that it was all designed to make us look down at black and up at white. So the religion that we have, the religion of Islam, the religion that makes us Muslims, the religion that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching us here in America today, is designed to undo in our mind what the white man has done to us. It's designed to undo the type of brainwashing that we had to undergo for 400 years at the hands of the white man in order to bring us down to the level that we're on today. So, when you hear us when you hear us often refer to black and almost in a boastful way, and actually we're not boasting, we're speaking of it in a factual sense, all we're doing is telling the truth about our people. Whenever you exalt black, that's not propaganda. When you exalt white, that's propaganda. Because no one can give biological evidence that there is any basis to elevate white or place white above everything else. But you can give biological evidence to show where black actually is the stronger and the superior of the two, if you want to make that kind of comparison. So never think ill of the person whom you hear representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad if an overemphasis seems to be placed upon black, but rather sit and analyze and try and get an understanding. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that of all the things the black man can study, or any man can study for that matter, history is best qualified to reward all research. You have to have a knowledge of history no matter what you're going to do. Anything that you undertake, you have to have a knowledge of history in order to be successful in it. The thing that has made the so-called Negro in America fail more so than any other thing is your and my lack of knowledge concerning history. We know less about history than anything else. There are black people in America who have mastered the mathematical sciences, have become professors and experts in physics, are able to toss Sputnik out there in the atmosphere, out in space. They're masters in that field. We have black men who have mastered the field of medicine. We have black men who have mastered other fields. But very seldom do we have black men in America who have mastered the knowledge of history of the black man himself. They are experts. We have among our people those who are experts in every field. But seldom can you find one from among us who is an expert on the history of the black man. And because of his lack of knowledge concerning the history of the black man, no matter how much he excels in these other sciences, he's always confined. He's always relegated to the same low rung of the ladder that the dumbest of our people are relegated to. And all of this stems from his lack of knowledge concerning history. What made Dr. George Washington Carver a Negro scientist instead of a scientist? What made Paul Robeson a Negro actor instead of an actor? What made Ralph Bunche, or makes Ralph Bunche, a Negro statesman instead of a statesman? The only difference between Bunche and Carver and these others whom I just mentioned, they don't know the history of the black man. Bunche is an expert, an international politician, a politician on the international level. But Bunche doesn't know himself. He has no knowledge of the history of his own people. He can be sent all over the world by America to solve problems for America, or to solve problems for other nations, but he can't solve problems for his own people in this country. Why? What is it that ties our people up in this way? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it boils down to just one word: history. When you study the history of Bunche, his history is different from the history of the black man who just comes here from Africa. And if you notice, Bunche was in Atlanta, Georgia during the summer, NAACP convention. He was Jim Crow. He was segregated. He was not allowed to go in a hotel down there. Yet there are Africans who can come here black as night and go in some of these cracker hotels. Well, what is the difference between Bunche and one of them? The difference is Bunche doesn't know his history, and the Africans, do know their history. They may come here out of the jungle, but they know their history. They may come here wearing sheets with their head all wrapped up, but they know their history. You and I can come out of Harvard, but we don't know our history. And the basic difference in why we are treated as we are, one knows his history and one doesn't know his history. The American Negro doesn't know his history. The American so-called Negro is a soldier who doesn't know his history. He's a servant in America who doesn't know his history. He's a graduate from Harvard or Columbia or Yale or Howard or Tuskegee who doesn't know his history. And because he doesn't know his history, he's confined. He's limited. But actually what this shows is the change that's taking place among the so-called Negroes, not only here in New York, but throughout America, throughout the entire world. Throughout the entire world today, dark mankind is waking up and undergoing a new type of thinking. And this new type of thinking is creating new approaches and new reactions that make it almost impossible to figure out what the black man is going to do next. And by black man, we mean, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we mean that this includes those who are not white. He teaches us that black is the basic color in all colors. Black is the foundation or the basis. And all of our people, or all of the people who have not yet become white, are still black, or are at least part of the black nation. So here at Muhammad's Mosque, when you hear us use the term black, we mean everybody who is here. Despite your complexion, if you're here at the mosque, you're black. Because the only ticket you need to get into Muhammad's Mosque is to be black. So if you got in, you know you're black. You may not have known you were black before you came here. In fact, very few of our people really look upon themselves as being black. They think of themselves as practically everything else on the color spectrum except black. And no matter how dark one of our people may be, you never hear him call himself black. But now that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching among the so-called Negroes, you find our people at all complexions running around here bragging about, I'm a black man. Well, this shows you that a new teaching is taking place and that there is new thinking among the so-called Negroes. If just yesterday you would have to admit that it was very difficult to get our people to refer to themselves as black, and then now all of a sudden you find all of us of all complexions not apologizing for being black, but bragging about being black. Well, there's a new thinking that has sprung up here in America among the so-called Negroes. And the one who is actually the author of this new thinking is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It is what he is teaching that's making our people for the first time proud to be black. And what's most important of all, for the first time, it makes our people want to know more about black, want to know why black is good, or what there is about black that's good. I might stop right here to point out, some of you may say, well, I come out here to listen to some religion of Islam, and all I hear you talk about is black. We don't separate our religion from our color, nor do we separate our color from our religion. The white man doesn't. The white man never has separated Christianity from white, nor has he separated white from Christianity. When you hear the white man bragging about, I'm a Christian, he's bragging about he's a white man. And the average Negro, when you hear him bragging about he's a Christian, he's bragging about he's a white man, or he wants to be white. And usually those Negroes who brag like that, I think you'll have to agree, their songs and the things that they sing in church bear out that they have a greater desire to be white than anything else. My mother was a Christian, and father was a Christian. And I used to hear them when I was a little child sing songs, Wash Me White as Snow. My father was a black man, and my mother was a black woman. But yet the songs that they sang in their church were designed to fill their heart with a desire to be white. So many people, especially our people, they would get resentful to hear us say something like this. But then, rather than get resentful, all they have to do is think back over the many of the songs and much of the teaching and the doctrine that they were taught while they were going to church, and they have to agree that it was all designed to make us look down at black and up at white. So the religion that we have, the religion of Islam, the religion that makes us Muslims, the religion that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching us here in America today, is designed to undo in our mind what the white man has done to us. It's designed to undo the type of brainwashing that we had to undergo for 400 years at the hands of the white man in order to bring us down to the level that we're on today. So, when you hear us use when you hear us often refer to black and almost in a boastful way, and actually we're not boasting, we're speaking of it in a factual sense, all we're doing is telling the truth about our people. Whenever you exalt black, that's not propaganda. When you exalt white, that's propaganda. Because no one can give biological evidence that there is any basis to elevate white or place white above everything else. But you can give biological evidence to show where black actually is the stronger and the superior of the two, if you want to make that kind of comparison. So never think ill of the person whom you hear representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad if an overemphasis seems to be placed upon black, but rather sit and analyze and try and get an understanding. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that of all the things the black man can study, or any man can study for that matter, history is best qualified to reward all research. You have to have a knowledge of history no matter what you're going to do. Anything that you undertake, you have to have a knowledge of history in order to be successful in it. The thing that has made the so-called Negro in America fail more so than any other thing is your and my lack of knowledge concerning history. We know less about history than anything else. There are black people in America who have mastered the mathematical sciences, have become professors and experts in physics, are able to toss Sputnik out there in the atmosphere, out in space. They're masters in that field. We have black men who have mastered the field of medicine. We have black men who have mastered other fields. But very seldom do we have black men in America who have mastered the knowledge of history of the black man himself. They are experts. We have among our people those who are experts in every field. But seldom can you find one from among us who is an expert on the history of the black man. And because of his lack of knowledge concerning the history of the black man, no matter how much he excels in these other sciences, he's always confined. He's always relegated to the same low rung of the ladder that the dumbest of our people are relegated to. And all of this stems from his lack of knowledge concerning history. What made Dr. George Washington Carver a Negro scientist instead of a scientist? What made Paul Robeson a Negro actor instead of an actor? What made Ralph Bunche, or makes Ralph Bunche, a Negro statesman instead of a statesman? The only difference between Bunche and Carver and these others whom I just mentioned, they don't know the history of the black man. Bunche is an expert, an international politician, a politician on the international level. But Bunche doesn't know himself. He has no knowledge of the history of his own people. He can be sent all over the world by America to solve problems for America, or to solve problems for other nations, but he can't solve problems for his own people in this country. Why? What is it that ties our people up in this way? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says it boils down to just one word: history. When you study the history of Bunche, his history is different from the history of the black man who just comes here from Africa. And if you notice, Bunche was in Atlanta, Georgia during the summer NAACP convention. He was Jim Crow. He was segregated. He was not allowed to go in a hotel down there. Yet there are Africans who can come here black as night and go in some of these cracker hotels. Well, what is the difference between Bunche and one of them? The difference is Bunche doesn't know his history, And they, the Africans, do know their history. They may come here out of the jungle, but they know their history. They may come here wearing sheets with their head all wrapped up, but they know their history. You and I can come out of Harvard, but we don't know our history. And the basic difference in why we are treated as we are, one knows his history and one doesn't know his history. The American Negro doesn't know his history. The American so-called Negro is a soldier who doesn't know his history. He's a servant in America who doesn't know his history. He's a graduate from Harvard or Columbia or Yale or Howard or Tuskegee who doesn't know his history. And because he doesn't know his history, he's confined. He's limited. He's held under the control and the jurisdiction of the white man who knows more about the history of the Negro than the Negro knows about himself. But when you and I wake up, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and learn our history, learn the history of our kind as well as the history of the white kind, then then the white man is at a disadvantage and we're at an advantage. The only thing that puts you and me at a disadvantage is our lack of knowledge concerning history. So one of the reasons, one of the missions, one of the objectives of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad here in America is not only to teach you and me the right religion, but to teach you and me history. In fact, do you know that if you and I know history, we know the right religion? The only way right now that you can become confused, become mixed up and not know which religion belongs to God is if you don't know history. In fact, you have to know history to know something about God. You have to know history to know something about God's religion. You have to know history to know something about God's people. You have to know history to know something about God's plans and God's purposes. And as I say, the only people who don't know history are the American so-called Negroes. If you know history, for an example, whenever you look at this religion right here, the only way you can explain it is to have a knowledge of history. Why is it called Christianity? It is called Christianity, they say, because it was named after a man called Christ, who was born 2,000 years ago. Now, you know, brothers and sisters, God is an old God, and the world is an old world. It's been here a long time. I think all of you will agree that the universe has been here longer than 2,000 years. And you'll also agree that the universe was made by God himself, that God created the universe. God created the people who are on this earth. God wouldn't create a universe. God wouldn't put a sun up in the sky and make 9 planets rotate around it, all of them inhabited. You and I inhabiting the planet Earth upon which we live. God wouldn't have done all of this and not given people a religion. God puts his religion here at the creation of the universe. God's religion is as old as the universe. In fact, God's religion is older than the universe. Now then, since you agree to this, and you'll also agree that Christ was born 2,000 years ago, which means Christianity is only 2,000 years old, this couldn't have been God's religion. If your knowledge of history shows you that God couldn't call his religion Christianity, because Christianity is only 2,000 years old. So if this is the case, then what was God's religion called before the birth of Christ? Can you see the importance of history? Why, if you didn't know history, you'd think that this was God's religion. And you'd be running around here practicing this, wondering why everybody doesn't practice this. Because some people have a better knowledge of history than others do. It is only the people whose knowledge of history is limited who try and jump up and say that Christianity is the name of God's religion. If Christianity hasn't always been the name of God's religion, it now isn't the name of God's religion. God doesn't change the name of his religion. God doesn't even change his religion. God doesn't change his mind. God's mind is made up from the beginning. He doesn't have to change his mind, because he knows all there is to know all the way down the wheel of time. He never has to change his mind. His mind is made up. His knowledge is complete. It's all encompassing. Do you understand? So, once you can see, and I think you can, that it's almost impossible for God to call this his religion. What did God call his religion? Christians are the ones who call God's religion Christianity, but God was here before Christians came on the scene. They tell you that the Christians had their beginning back there with the Romans. One of the Roman emperors who supposedly accepted the teachings of some of Jesus' disciples and then named what the disciples taught Christianity. But Jesus didn't even call it Christianity. This wasn't named this until 200 or 300 years after Jesus was dead. Right or wrong. Any history book will tell this. Any Bible will tell this. Any religion, any theologian should have a knowledge of this. And the only Negroes who will contend with this are those who don't know history. And most Negroes don't know history. And most Negroes will contend with it. But when you tell it to the white man, he shuts his mouth. Because he knows that this is true. So then those who have studied a little deeper, they'll say, well, before God called Israel, before it was called Christianity, it was called Judaism. Isn't this what they say? Named after a man called Judah. This right here doesn't follow logic. If Christianity became named this after Christ was born, and before Christ was born the religion was called Judaism, then that means that this got its name from the son of Jacob, whose name was Judah. But history tells us that Jacob was serving God before Judah was born, which shows us that Jacob's religion couldn't have been Judaism, and Isaac was Jacob's father. He was serving God also before Jacob, his son, was born. Isaac was Judah's grandfather, and Abraham was Judah's great-grandfather, meaning Abraham was on the scene long before Judah came on the scene. Now, you couldn't call Abraham's religion Judaism, because there was no such thing as Judaism in Abraham's day. There was no such thing as Judaism in Isaac's day or in Jacob's day. Do you understand? So what was God's religion before they called it Judaism? And this is something that the white man has never taught you and me. The white man is afraid to let you and me know what God's religion was called in Abraham's day, because Abraham was supposed to have been known as the father of all of them. He was supposed to be the progenitor of all of them. He's supposed to be one of God's first servants. One of the first to submit to God is supposed to be Abraham. Now, if you can see this, then find out what was Abraham's religion. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us Abraham's religion was the religion of Islam. Islam only means complete submission to God, complete obedience to God. Abraham obeyed God. Abraham obeyed God so much so that when God told Abraham to take his son and sacrifice him, stick a dagger in his heart. Is that what he told him? Abraham took his only son up on the mountain and was going to sacrifice him to God, showing you that he believed in Islam. What does Islam mean? Obey God. Submit to God. So that this name here, if you'll notice, has no connection, no association with the birth of a man. This is not a man's name. This doesn't come from a man. This comes from a man. Buddhism was named after a man called Buddha. Confucianism was named after a man called Confucian. Right or Confucius, right or wrong. Likewise with Judaism and Christianity. But Islam is not connected with any man. Islam is independent of any man. Islam is an act, which means submit completely to God or obey God. And when you say your religion is Islam, that means you're a Muslim. So, to clarify this, what must you do? You must have a knowledge of history. If you don't have a knowledge of history, you'll run around calling yourself a Christian, swearing you're serving God. Or you run around saying that your religion is Judaism, you swear you're serving God. If your religion is Christianity, you follow in Christ. If your religion is Judaism, you follow in Judah. If your religion is Buddhism, you follow in Buddha. Do you understand? And they're all dead. And if you follow them, you'll die too. This is where it leads you. Wherever your leader is, that's what happens to you. Now, we who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we believe in Islam. We don't believe in Muhammad. We believe in Islam. He teaches us the religion of Islam. Do you understand the difference? These people they believe in Christ. They believe Christ is God. Oh, yes, they do. That he was born of the Blessed Virgin. That's what they believe. Didn't have a father, just a spirit. And then came into the world and was crucified and went up into space. They believe that. But they believe that because they don't know history. Because you'll find the people, if you notice, the Jews have a greater knowledge of history than the Christians do. Do they not? The Christian history only goes back 2,000 years. The history of the Jews go back beyond 4,000 years. Can you see this? And the Muslim history goes back. There's no limit to the Muslim history. If you notice, the Christians can only go back to what they call the Greek Empire. Usually they go back to that's what they call the Occidental, the beginning of the Occident, the Greek Empire, Roman Empire, and so forth. The Jews have a knowledge of history that goes back into Egypt and Babylon. You notice how they all go back farther than the other. But now the Muslim history goes back. It has no limit. There are no chains on how far you can go back when you're a Muslim. The Christian and the Jew combined go back to whom? To Adam. And they stop right there. And they say beyond him there was nothing happening. Well, this is because they don't know. But the more history they have, the greater their knowledge of history is, this has an influence on the type of religion that they accept. You understand? All praise is due to Allah. Another example. What makes the royal family of Europe, or any country, differ from the peasant? Royalty knows its ancestry. Royalty knows its history. This is what makes them royal. You can't have a king who can't trace his history on back into his forefathers. The only way he can be king is to be born a king. But if you take away his history, and he doesn't know who his forefathers are, what does he become? A peasant, a common ordinary man. Same with the Jews and the Christians. It's because the Jews have the longest record of history that they can call themselves the chosen people. The Christians can't call themselves the chosen people because their history is not long enough. They can't go back to the time when the choice was being made. But the Hebrews, the so-called Jews, they can go back so far they can lay claim to that which actually is not theirs. But the reason they can claim it because nobody else that they're dealing with can go back far enough to dispute them. But the Muslims. Do you understand? So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's mission is to teach the so-called Negroes a knowledge of history, the history of self, of ourselves, our own kind, and by giving us a knowledge of this history concerning our own kind, show us how we fit into prophecy, how we fit into the prophecies of the Bible, biblical prophecy. Which means, when you go in one of these churches, usually they name their church after some word in this Bible. Big Rock Baptist Church, or Drinking at the Well Baptist Church. They got all those kind of names, brother. Friendship Baptist, Union Baptist, Israel Baptist, Jacob's Ladder Baptist. Isn't that how they name them? They find some kind of old funny word in this Bible to name their whole religion after. Their whole doctrine is based on a verse in the Bible. He rose, Baptist Church. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad bases what he teaches not on a verse, but upon the entire book. From beginning to end, he says that he can open up the book and prove that what he's teaching is true, and prove that the Bible agrees with him, and then use the Bible to prove that what they're teaching in the church is wrong. You know, that's saying something. For instance, he says that in Genesis, the 15th chapter and the 13th verse, to give you an example, he points out where it says, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was mentioning this verse tonight on the radio. He said, "And God said unto Abraham, Know for a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance." Now the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that explains his teaching right there. Because he teaches that the so-called Negroes are the ones that the Bible is talking about, who have spent 400 years as strangers in a land that isn't theirs. And you can't deny that we're strangers here. I don't think any of y'all will deny that we're strangers here. We're not in a country where we're made to feel at home. We'll put it that way. There's hardly any Negro in his right mind can say he feels at home in America. He has to admit that he's made to feel like a stranger. Right or wrong? Well, this is what God told Abraham. This is what God told Abraham would happen in this day and time. Remember, Abraham's religion was Islam. Abraham wasn't a Jew. Abraham wasn't a Christian. Abraham wasn't a Buddha. Abraham was a Muslim. Which means he obeyed God. God told him, your people are going into bondage. They're going to become slaves. They're going to be afflicted. There'll be strangers far from home for 400 years. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, you and I are the seed of Abraham. We're the descendant of Abraham. Now, the preacher in the church, he tells you that the Jew is the seed of Abraham. One of them is right and one of them is wrong. Either Mr. Muhammad is right and the preacher is wrong, or the preacher is right and Mr. Muhammad is wrong. This is what we are putting on the line today. Who is the seed of Abraham? Is it this blue-eyed, blonde-haired, pale-skinned Jew, or is it the so-called Negro? You. Who is it? And what makes it so pitiful, many of our people would rather believe that the Jew is God's chosen people than to believe that they are God's chosen people. They would rather believe that God is going to save the Jew than to believe that God is going to save them. They would rather believe that the Jew is better than anybody else than to believe that they themselves are better than anybody else. This is a Negro. Wouldn't nobody else think like this but a Negro? Nobody else would put everybody in, would rather believe that the Jew is better than anybody else than to believe that they themselves are better than anybody else. This is a Negro. Wouldn't nobody else think like this but a Negro? Nobody else would put everybody else on top of him but the Negro. No one else would place himself below everyone else but the Negro. I mean, the American Negro. So look what God said. That the people would be strangers. The Jews aren't strangers. The Jews know their history. The Jews know their culture. The Jews know their language. They know everything there is to know about themselves. They know how to rob you. They know how to be your landlord. They know how to be your grocer. They know how to be your lawyer. They know how to join the NAACP and become the president. Right or wrong. They know how to control everything you got. You can't say they're lost. But the poor so-called Negro, he hasn't control over anything. He doesn't control the NAACP. He can't control the Urban League. He can't control CORE. He can't control his church. He can't control his own school. He can't control his own businesses and his own community. He can't even control his own mind. He's lost and lost control of himself and gone astray. So he fits the picture here that the Bible says concerning our people in the last day. Know for a surety that thy seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them. And you have served the white man. He hasn't served you and me. Why, the Jew hasn't served anybody here. You are the one that served. And they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards they shall come out with great substance. Oftentimes when you say this to the so-called Negroes, some of them tell you that this is the Jew. But if you notice when Jesus was talking to the Jew way back here in John, he told them that if they shall know the truth and it'll make them free. The Jew popped up and says, how are you going to say we shall be made free? We have never been in bondage to anyone. Isn't that what the Jews told Jesus? Well, now look here. If the Jews told Jesus 2,000 years after Moses supposedly led the Hebrews out of bondage, that they had never been in bondage. Now, you know the Jews had Moses' history. They knew who Moses was. How could they stand up and tell Jesus they had never been in bondage? Because they had never been in bondage. Not these things that you call Jews. They weren't in Egypt. Those weren't the people that Moses led out of Egypt. And the Jew knows this. But the Bible is written in such a tricky way, when you read it, you think that Moses led the Jews out of bondage. But if you get a Jew in a good, solid conversation today, and you know how to talk to him, he has to admit to you that it wasn't out of Egypt land that Moses brought them. It wasn't out of bondage that Moses brought them. It was out of somewhere else.
Greetings. We're there with you. Yes, Malachi Shabazz, Al-Mawali, Malcolm X. Yeah, you know, one of the times when I look upon the Bible, one of the times, because it was more about our development in society and becoming independent as children of the slaves, and also the importance of moral leadership. And you see, the independence is not colonial given independence. It's independence with the Almighty so we have independence of humanity. Huh? That's why he wanted us to go to the UN and look at human rights and all of these colonial powers, how them use and misuse human rights. And yet still, they want we feel say that they are doing something for, or they want the world to feel say they're doing something. And then they've captured our sentiment, and we go follow them in the theological practice. And instead of we learn from that, we haven't, because we haven't learned history. We haven't studied history. And the history to be studied is of Kemet, Africa. It's to study and relate to our ancestors and the continent, to know about the continent, everything within its limits, our limits, because we don't know the language. But making progress and commitment, we would have learned and should have learned. What we know is colonial education and colonial history. If I'm wrong, someone pray tell me. See, and we have been around and around that for more than 70-something years. And because we haven't taught ourselves, because this is ghettoology, and without it, I feel say we would have been suffering much more than we have suffered in 76 years. We jump when the man said jump. We run when them said run. And we perform when them say perform. We've never stopped and examined ourselves until Elijah Muhammad came. And even then, how much people did examine themselves? And if we did, so much of us would have made certain moves. The African diasporans. Marcus Garvey pointed to Africa, not for a holiday, for repatriation. To understand that Africa is our motherland and fatherland. But true, we never get the education. Really, I'm saying we never get the education, proper education of that. And it hasn't yet arrived on the curriculum within the University of the West Indies and across the board in the Caribbean islands. So it come like a record. Catch it if you can. Remember it when you hear it. And maybe you never hear it. Record, you know. So it go. So we have come a long way. and still got a long, long, long way to go. Because a new generation has arrived. And a lot of mental disturbances are being packaged with the arrival of this new generation. And many of them are intellects. But to get the honor bachelor degree and the PhD, they've tagged on to Marcus Garvey, and they've tagged on to Elijah Muhammad, and they've tagged on to Melchizedek Shabazz, and give a particular and are giving a particular take on these people, so that their peers will not see the light of truth and work with a revolution of conscience. And then you have those who oppose Muslims and try to find a way to put some dark shade on Melchizedek Shabazz. Because no matter how them dig and twist and turn, he told the world, my faith, my religion, my deen is Al-Islam. And it's Al-Islam in practice. And it's black liberation, emancipation, and activism was his life, or his role, or his duty. But his life belonged to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he made the world know that. Not just black people in America and the Caribbean. He make everyone know that Al-Islam. And we're proud of that. But this new group that's coming now, they want to shed some dark shade to say that he wasn't. He was just a rebellious individual. Now you see, when you don't have educational structures, you can't deal with these comments if one decides to deal with them adequately. It come like a hyper corner or some marketplace, and people them run up them out here and run up them out there, and everybody have an opinion and views. And then you could catch a person by saying, listen, what you know about such and such? And it's hearsay them say, you know, and YouTube, so they don't know anything. But then that'd be a bad thing to do, really, when you deal with a young generation, because they weren't around, and they did not have the privilege to see or hear him. So how do we educate our children, our people? What kind of history, what kind of knowledge, information? See, so when you look at this thing seriously, we talk about a lot of people that said some hot things, but none of them established any kind of institution that would have continued after them. That's one of the real precise things that the Caucasian, the colonial people have done. That's why we're stuck in theological education, because they continue to maintain that. And once they maintain that, you know, and them give us the opportunity to go inside there and learn something, only a fool will refuse. But what we're consuming culturally is not applicable for us. That's why we have all this corruption, and a lot of people want to examine and experience power of authority. And when them do get it, they become rogues. Instead of developing trying to develop the population, them just oppress the population. Sometimes it is through instructions. Other time it's just through their emotion, their egos. And that comes from how they've been educated, how they've been informed. And the visions that we see is not ourselves, you know. We see other people, America, England, Germany, everywhere else. And we usually get a lot of arms and told that these are the things that we need to safeguard ourselves. They call it security. Say, look at the Caribbean islands now. We have enough guns. And the people them that have these guns are law enforcement officers that meant to what? Really and truly protect and give security and safety to the population. But them act like rogues. And the people them who is the authority of them doesn't show any form of humanity. And one of these days we have to just say, yo, if the soldier was to behave like police, oh gosh, man. Now, yesteryears, we were revolting to get freedom against our colonial captors, the people them who capture it and brutalize us in what them call slavery. And we wanted to liberate ourselves, we want to be free from these people. It wasn't about compromising to say, yo, hear what, love me, treat me good, and whatever you want me to do, I will do. It wasn't about that. And it was about going home also. So the point I'm making is that instead of that being the focus, we'll kill each other. Lacking history, lacking information, lacking knowledge. Lacking. Let's go there. Let's go somewhere and come back.
brought us to slave in this big plantation, fussing and fighting among ourselves. Nothing to achieve this way, it's worse than hell. I say, get up and fight for your right, my brother. Get up and fight for your right, my sister. Took us away from civilization, brought us to slave in this big plantation, fussing and fighting among ourselves. Nothing to achieve this way, it's worse than hell. I say, get up and fight for your right, my brother. Get up and fight for your right, my sister. Get up and fight.
Run the tune, mister, run the tune.
Get up and fight for your right, my sister. Get up and fight.
I feel we sit or tell them feel low it.
Here we go.
Every tongue shall tell on the day when the Lord comes again to judge everyone for the wrong they have done and all the lies they have told on that day. That dread day, all your backsliders and all your false prophets, where will you go on that day? That dread day. Oh, what a day. Oh, what a day. When every eye shall behold the one and the true one. All shall tremble like the leaves on the trees on that day. That dread day. And every tongue shall tell, every tongue shall tell on that day, that dread day. On that day, that dread day.
I feel we sit or tell them feel low it.
Here we go.
Yes, we're in our stride, you know. And so we stay. In our stride. One can push we off of the bob. Come.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a long time. We don't have any fun. It's been a long time. We don't have any fun. Sick of this ratchet and bum. Man have to run up and down. Let's get
And the big back sound with them called Tipper Town, and I got to make it be known. Big up the one like Roddy Bone, Ochi Peng, and the Black Roses massive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a long time. We don't have any fun. It's been a long time. We don't have any fun. Sick of this ratchet and
the Mighty Diamonds. Yeah, man. Every time you listen to them, a pain you have in your heart, you know. Seriously. So, we'll come back right now. And we'll come back with a word. Formation. A word. Very important word, you know. Formation. And we'll link the formation like this now. Human excellence is awaiting us. Human excellence. Because we're human beings. So anybody want to strive for Mars and Martians and moon-like and all these type of thing, it's dreaming. Anybody who have them wishes and Jesus is dreaming. Whoever that name belong to. If we say Isa or we say Christ, I can work with that and my mother and my father, whole of my family. You understand? If we say Yeshua, we can work with that. But let me get back to the word now, formation, right? Striving for human excellence, which is waiting us. Guys, we have an artificial understanding, our artificial doings in relation to formation and human excellence. Because they give us, we take that from what them give us in terms of play and amusement, excitement of basketball, football, and athletics. And then before that now, we need to express ourselves, and we express ourselves with our music, but somehow that got leaked and interfered with and commercialized, and money and decadence follow that. We got our reggae music that them call it dancehall, and really and truly, it's not dancehall. Dancehall is with my sound system we're playing. But them come with this dancehall something and project a particular attitude and a behavior. And it was bashment. It was bashment. And it still is. It was bashment that was now played and took over the sound system genre, our sound system space. And quickly, them say dancehall and put bashment, transform bashment title to dancehall. And all the decadence and all the obscenities and disregarding of mothers, girls, ladies, females, and no value for life begun. And slowly, true to what it appeared to be an acceptance, is now eliminating our moral values, and it's eliminating the very fabric of our islands. And now we have something where we're merging, because the people who's in charge of this exposure and this financial backative have their own agenda. But our young people haven't a clue. And the way they've been raised and what is being projected to them, they don't really care. So our moral values and moral leadership is missing, is lacking. And our elders, most of them get thrills from watching the girls them gyrate and so forth and so forth. So we've lost And now the youth them, I say, they want billboard recognition. And those publishers and others are saying, yeah. And them give them some spotlight for a minute. And them get nominations. And they are awarded conditional contracts to travel, to tour, to perform in the first world. Land of great opportunities, they say. The US of A. And even in the pandemic, them could have traveled. Those who accept the terms and were not just willing and sign this new structural contract arrangements. So we have big problems in that side of things. So formation is a realization still again, you know. It's all about construction. It's all about establishing. It's all about having a foundation. It's all about development. It's all about creation. So we're not featured in formation because we've disregarded ourselves. We have disregarded ourselves. The first four definition of formation, we not qualify. And people like myself and others, we are searched for that within an infrastructure development. So we can have some construction and we can continue to establish and develop foundations. Because we know and we have realized from our foreparents that there's a journey. And all of these slots we need to attend to. But first and foremost, we have to be responsible people. That's why we said from the start that human excellence awaits us. It's other human beings that create a discouragement towards human excellence. And every human being on this earth are excellent. They were created excellent. And they should strive to flourish that excellence. And no one but ourselves, through our aspiration and desires, know how far we can go in relation to excellence. Yes. But when we start from a premise that we don't acknowledge excellence, others in this earth will see us lacking the human qualities and the human dignities. So they know so that we lack human excellence. And they deal with us accordingly. But we don't see ourselves being dealt with as scavengers by such people because mammon, money, makes us feel that we're important, that we're being valued and we're being important. But what is value? Last time I left that, I come with it and just drop it there. Value. If I don't value myself as my mother valued me, should I be waiting for other human beings to value me when all I'm seeing is discouragement? But if I've eloped with my tribe and my nation, I know I'm worthy. And I know I should be striving. We will strive for excellence. Excellence. And we know, and we are proud to be a dignified people. But when we're not striving for excellence, there's no dignity for one to reflect at. We will see others with dignity. We'll see others that have some form of excellence. And because they have accommodated us in a particular space, we feel too that we are part of, and we're not. We're just followers. We're people that are easily manipulated. Easily manipulated. Because we're not striving on our own, within our own volition. We're following others. So our value worth needs to also be looked at. And this is deep. This has nothing to do with all this rare and negative propaganda to get hits. It's serious things. This is serious work. This is serious dissertation. Very serious. Very serious. Dignity. All we have known from our parents is suffering, is sufferation. So should not the table turn with us for excellence? And we should be striving for human dignity among ourselves, not commanding it from our oppressors, from among ourselves. Understanding that this creation, this earth, was formed for human beings, and we want our share. And to do that, we need to establish ourselves, structuralize ourselves, and develop ourselves so that we can build foundations which evidently become institutions, and institutions of learning, institutions of development, and institutions that are reflective of our value. Yes, very serious, you know. Now, may I tell you, man, and we have natural potential that God has given to us. We have the natural potential, natural ability, and capability, natural resources, and we should understand the environment, our environment. And the greatest environment to be understood and to be explored is in Africa. The social environment that we're in is all about tolerating. It's all about tolerating and existing, surviving. Look at it carefully. It can't go no further than that. Anyone that says I'm wrong, prove it. Prove it. In another man's land, you can just exist. And every day you're striving to survive, to exist. You cannot bite the apple or cherry. And you cannot go to the highest level of the plantation and transform it and structure like we can't do it. We just have to, we're in a position where we just have to accept, because it's not our land. And we're not appreciated in the land among the people. We have experienced racism, discrimination. We've experienced murder, brutality, and yet still we accommodate them in play and amusement. Because we have not had a choice. Two, we don't have no institution. And we lack in history of the human excellence and development, which is from the continent. From once we see the excellence of our ancestors, and the achievements, the accomplishments, and the moral fabric of those people, which are our ancestors, our soul and heart will be excited but be contented. And it gives us that urge, that compassion, that resilience to strive because we know our worth, our value. We know that we're dignified people. We would know that we're dignified people. And we would be on a mission to strive for human excellence in this environment called Earth. Not called England or America or Caribbean, called the Earth. And we would not accept any wicked treatment because we be too busy in love with ourselves as a people. As a people, African people. But plain amusement disturbs our thought process, our intelligence, our striving for intelligence, and not even striving for it. Our declaring our intelligence. Because all human beings are intelligent. It's other people who set certain standards. So we should set our own standards to determine what intelligence they're seeking or what methodology they will classify as an intelligent or intelligent peoples or intelligent pursuits. That's just the order of, that's how things are. So, as human beings, our mission here, according to me, is to strive for human excellence. And that is made clear by the teaching of our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing upon the Prophet of Al-Islam. Oh yes. But if a person spend time in learning and research learning and environmental studies and sociology and psychology and environmental structures, you would see that. You don't have to deal with George Orwell to say, yo, me understand Animal Farm, but you will see that. And if you didn't go that route and you read Marx and democracies and socialism and so, you will see that too. It's made very clear. So all the structures that we have is being created by human beings. They're all being created by us. But then there's people who put it there. They're the ones who examine it, examine whoever indulges within to say if you reach a particular level or standard. So that being understood, not being said, that being understood, where's ours? That goes back to the fact that we have thousands upon thousands of people in these Western countries that are well educated and been through all these pursuits and have comprehended totally, not just passed and got their masters and PhDs and so forth. They've mastered the subject. They've understood very carefully what is expected to accomplish the prescribed attainment. Now, it is to take that same and put that into practice among our communities to which we don't have any. If we did, then there'll be something of reflection. And we wouldn't have been missing ourselves because it'd be so reflective. So what is reflective of ourselves? Plain amusement. Plain amusement. And we are still tricked with titles, headlines, Windrush headlines that divorces all those people who came here through immigration to the colonial masters to be rebuilt, help them rebuild and restructure this country called England. With a set of people who voluntarily left and come here in the late 60s on a ship called Windrush. So my grandmother and grandfather and my mother and father, who were selected to come here to rebuild this thing, this Windrush do not acknowledge them. Don't matter how you try, twist it and talk rubbish. But yet still we are educated here. And we are taught about formation. And we are taught about human dignity and value and worth. Our true potential that God has created us all with. And the only exclusiveness about all of that is he who make use of the natural environment that we have and how we utilize the resources from that environment called Earth, and how we share our curiosities that we call the inquisitiveness that we call research and science and physics and chemistries and so forth. Now, if we're not linked together, we won't share and express our realization, our curiosities of these things. So we can bring about an iPhone, some tabulator called a computer, and a hovercraft, and a motor vehicle, and an aeroplane, and a boat and ship, and all form of other things that deals with medical advancement, and be very fluent with it, because our brain, our sensibility is curious concerning God. Don't let no one fool you, concerning God and how this thing called Earth, how it works. And we're curious about our bodies, how it works. And how to take care of it. So human excellence is part of our DNA. Very important part of our DNA. All of us have it. It's not exclusive to black people, or African people, or Caucasian people, or Chinese people, or Japanese people. It's all human beings. If you check what I'm saying, those people who were not misused and manhandled and victimized, look at the progression on this earth. And then you got another one who's got some big, big, big eyes outside of their own environment, looking at other people and envy and jealous, and then go capture these people. And the same thing happened to us. People must understand, colonial slavery was to get formation, to get development, to get structures, so they can establish themselves. So they needed people from among us that have the abilities, true potential, those who can construct. And then they took what we call today the labor force. So they took a section of people, hey, yo, seriously, we need to re-educate ourselves when we look upon transatlantic slavery and stop all the little juvenile talking. But when you buck up on the whole thing now, you're going to turn around and say, you know what, they're painting a Muslim picture. Stop that, Israel. Stop it. You know how much Bantus were taken to what we call America? Bantus. Know the history of the Bantus. Know the culture of the Bantus. Know the structure. Know the formation of the Bantus. The people them just never come and just grab some people and say, yo, let's take all these black people and dash them here, bring them over here. No, they took those to establish something. And it's worked for them. That's why I'm saying, let us look at the formation and the human excellence of ourselves, and we must spend time developing ourselves. When a person looks upon a church, or what is being perceived by us as a church, are we using it the way the white man use it? It's the white man who say, yo, you can have a church, you know. And it's the white man who orchestrate and everything, how far we go with that. They show you how ignorant we are. The man used that to mobilize the best of himself. And then he used some sociology where those people that's in the church now can calm areas, states, calm them. And if we look at what is being happening throughout the world, you see that they've lost that influence because they felt that they've grown out of it. They don't need it anymore. They don't need it anymore. You look in England, you see all the church, the majority of the church, them closed. But them only open because black people, African people, go and rent the space and clean up the place. Take all the cobwebs and the damps and everything and put central heating and all kind of something in a them church. We have revitalized them churches. But and not them that's coming up. It's black people that's go there. The dead stock buildings is being cleansed and refurbished by African people and filled by African people. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yes. And still the fools them open up school. Because some of them places have some serious space and buildings. And see them take the whole thing to the church and state and develop some institution of learning, secondary learning for us. Them they upon this Jesus thing. Because we're not visionaries. We lack in vision. And we still think that progression is with the Caucasian. Because some of them first-class Africans were given khaki suit and white shirt and a tie. And they were allowed to go to school. They had privilege, opportunities. Yes. So if you develop a society, you have to have an understanding of how to do that. And they did it well. And through that learning, we feel indebted to them. Now we need help. We can't see that we need help. Those of us outside of that realm know that we need help. Those inside that realm don't see that we need help. So it's very difficult to convince them, I feel, about the worth and the value and the human excellence, and the human dignity that we should be having. Not exclusive of the white man, not oppressing the white man. No, it doesn't come into play. Everything that I'm talking about is about us. It's not about us and them. It's about us moving away from them. Moving away from all evildoers, all form of so-called predators. We need to establish and remember that the earth belongs to everyone. And it's God-given. It don't belong to America, England, Germany, and ray. No. It don't belong to Muslim and Jew and no. No. We're just a number within the population of the earth. And we either become good children or disobedient children. And so far they've been showing us total disobedience. But we know our ancestors struggle. So it's full time that we understand the limits of struggling. Because every day, every human being struggles for life. But there's people put us on a burden ship of struggle just to survive. Because they see themselves as the one that has power and authority. But I'm saying we have worth and value. Hey! And no one can take that from us. But if we don't know it, then you can't miss something you don't know nothing about. You understand? Seriously. And we have a lot of delinquency among us that talk hard. So I come like independence. The Caribbean islands, them have so-called independent month and year, and some is 59 and some is 60 and everything. And the damn jackasses, them come out, but them are celebrate. And when them look back at home and listen to the news at home and everything, and you find say there's so much death, so much killing, and people are suffer, and them just come out with it, all of it just come out are on the verge of coming out, refine ourselves from the covert pandemic. But things rough. The economy rough before pandemic. Years and years before pandemic. The monetary situation is non-existent. Then the tolerance, the behavior, the attitudes of the people them. But people don't seem to have value. Because right now, they should be enforcing the fact that, yo, I don't acknowledge you, and I don't acknowledge no goddamn thing called independent celebration, but through play and amusement, people will do it. They will do it. A lot of opportunists that are mentally delinquent. Yes, man. Delinquents. Oh, you want to know what that means? Look it up yourself. You understand? Right? I'm dealing with human dignity. Yeah. You understand? An establishment. But delinquencies, nah. We have a lot of foolish people. And through play and amusement, it gets us. It gets us. It distracts us. Can you imagine? Black people are still running. And the white man and his family are sit down and I watch these black men run. And Darwin is saying, I told you. They're not full human beings. Look at them. Only beasts of the field can do that. And our ancestors were running away, trying to run away from those people. And we're in the 21st century and we're still running. And then the man glorifies something and put a stock clock under something. And we get excited about this stock clock and a thing them called world record. Not realizing that we're giving these people so much thrills at our expense. And anything that we want to do, human beings, we can do. So we as African people, what do? We go and train our minds, train our bodies, and then go and execute. But where is the intelligence among us that says, yo, do you realize what we just did and what we've been doing? Our true potential. We're able to do anything. So we should be doing those things for ourselves. We need to love and appreciate ourselves. But the people them got with hoodwink and lockdown. And them need to search the Bible for play and amusement as the Achilles heel of human beings to distract them away from the true natural self of achieving and establishing human excellence, which is the key backative from the Almighty, so that we will appreciate our value and worth. Yes, with dignity. And you see, when we formulate ourselves, we'll be able to remove ills, because we'll be proud of moral excellence. Yes, moral excellence. Not those Jeremy rhymes that was told about Noah and all these other people that you all are saying that God chose, and then they go breed them daughter, them wife's son, their wife, the children, wives, and no. And get drunk and no, come on. And these same decadence, is it being perpetuated in the world? For how long? All the while. So someone needs to wake up and say, yo, hold on a minute. God can't sanction something like that. And if God chose this person to be a messenger or prophet to save a nation or community, then when them do the task, them fulfill the obligation, how is it that they are wickeder than the people them just God asked to rescue? See? Common sense, you know. Natural sensibility. So when I put God in a little box and no man say him come of age and him don't want to be a man and the woman don't want to be a woman and them say them have dreams and feelings that they're not, the man say him not a man. What was worded to him was wrong. So what are they saying about God? They're saying, no. This God is vulnerable like human beings. So a man say him have these thinking and feeling, and he knows within himself that he was not meant to be a man. Then you have the woman now saying the same thing. Then you have society now backing all of this. And those same people that make this thing internationally right has not done one iota for racism, because it is them against the black man and the woman as Africans. And we are still sitting, watching, listening, and burying our loved ones. And then you can see the results that God said, look at the tests, look at the signs. Them go around and take their guns and go and obliterate people. When I check, I'm always checking to see the complexion of the perpetrators. Because I would be so hurt and have heart attack or seizures if some of this madness were black people. Yes, I'd be so hurt and have all form of seizures. But them have some of them waiting that have mental health issues and they will put them in particular places and switch them on. And madness will happen. That's due to come. Because these people control all forms of evil devices. I'm still talking formation. Because these are the obstacles that's in the way of formation. Because we have not developed, so we have to come with a different word. We have not established, we have come with a different word. And it all belong to the same word, formation. And I'm preaching human excellence, human dignity, human value and worth. Because the suffering thing, we need to acknowledge that and remove ourselves from that. We need to understand that we struggle in jihad. Every human being on this earth, including animals as well, struggle. And we have to give thanks when we say we wake up and we are breathing for another day or moment after the night. That is called jihad, struggle. Animals, human beings. But some people them do want to be neglectful of all of that. And just go through life, having their play, having sex, and rest. No, play, eat, ease themselves, have some sex, sleep, and wake. And as far as them concerned, that's life. But animals do that. So what's the excellence of that which animals are able to do and human beings have the power called intellect and choices? We have true potential to seek excellence. Because we have a thing called mind and we can reason. We're able to reason. We're able to monitor progression in our lives that call value and worth. We're able to research and look for resources that's on this earth within the environment that we find ourselves within. Formation, the true potential that God has given to human beings. Why are we lacking? Why are we waiting? Because we don't teach ourselves. And we need to have respect for information among ourselves. Not world information, information around ourselves. And then we see excellence among ourselves. We're lacking vision, but yet still we have eyes. Spiritual vision, intellectual vision, vision of curiosity, we're lacking. And we all are suffering. We all are suffering. But what is it that we have produced? God give us the land called the earth, give us the water, give us the food, give us the resources to develop shelter and garments. Yes. And give us the ability to explore. So that this word called discovering or discoveries can become self-evident of truth. Yes. Water is underneath, and water comes from underneath above ground and run down some mountains and hills, run through valleys, and it's a marvelous sight. Marvelous. And it's very clean. Yeah. Until we interfere and pollute it. Water. We didn't give ourselves that. we can direct it, redirect it. But we never give ourselves that. It's the Almighty, whether they believe in a God or not, is being given to us. And then our curiosities, we find out so much things about the land. And food, we never give ourselves that. We have learned how to cultivate. We've learned how to accumulate food. And we learned how to create shelters we call homes, houses, pyramids. And we've learned how to use other forms of plants to develop garments. What today you call textiles. But we also have the teaching of Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam. We have created warehouses. And we've created supermarkets. So we have the food in abundance. Yes. So we know the worth and the value of the environment that we find ourselves within, because we take the best of what is there on offer from the earth to maintain ourselves. To maintain ourselves, to develop ourselves. That's the human curiosity and the vision that human beings we have. And we have the substances to help us in terms of our ailments, human curiosities. So by the time we shelf delinquencies, victimization, the place is full of institutional racism, victimization. Social justice is what we've been striving for forever. And we've got mentally trapped in that environment. Mentally trapped. And come up with all these haphazard solutions that bears no fruit and save no lives of our own. Still speaking about formations and the importance of moral leadership and history of ourselves. I tell you, now we got all these young people them running about the place, talking all kind of thing now. Again, how them are Hebrew and Ray, and so forth. Yo, we're going round and round. Round and round. We're going up and down like a yo-yo. Like a yo-yo. And right now when I look at us, we are our own problem. And we need to find solution. And the best solution is fall in love with ourselves. So I've been to the dance. I've been to the reggae that them kick out. I went to expose what dancehall really is, was, should have been, and to me still is, and a lot of other people. And what people are seeing is bashment. It was plotted by other than ourselves, and that's what's there. There's nothing reggae roots about that. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And the behaviors of those people that participate in such, they've been manipulate it into something them themselves don't know, so them run with it. And every day it's all about somebody do this and somebody do that, and then them curse each other's mother. And then the baddest of baddest one turn around and tell the next one, or him going gun butt him. And the people them who want to associate that something with a culture, they're so wrong. That's what I'm saying. Delinquents. We have a whole heap of us are social delinquents. Yes. And some of us don't even know that because we just want to be important. All this. This is reggae music, you know, that is played in a hall, in a house, in a club. This is not dance hall, nothing. This is reggae music. You understand? Reggae music. You understand? So here we go again. Come up again. Come again. Mighty Diamonds, Things and Times, we there with you. Uh-huh. See, you're listening to instruments. You're not listening to some electronical tabulator, something. You know. You're listening to, you have been listening to instruments, a group that we call musicians. See? So the tempo of what we have out there is called mental disaster. Because the sound can be pleasant or disruptive. Sound. See? So the EQ of the sound that is given and being projected with what them call dancehall is very dangerous. But you don't know that.
Is the land of home, yeah, yeah. Africa is the land where I and I come from. Africa, our father's land, is calling us home. So long we have been a slave and no more will we roam. So I hope and I pray that the day will come when we see the rising sun. When no more crying, nor victimizing, no more starvation, no more killing. Africa is the land of.
This is formation. When you listen to them lyrics, this formation is being projected in the method of social science, but it's coming to poetry within sound and rhythm. But if you paid close attention, you would understand a formation. Listen. Mighty Diamond, Stephen Times, we there with you, man. Sit it, yes.
He that is wise, keepeth his life. He that keepeth his mouth, will cause no strife. A wise man is strong, he's a man of knowledge. His wisdom is too high for a fool. Open up his mouth in evil places, but leave all vengeance unto Jah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. He that is wise, keepeth his life. He that keepeth his mouth, because no strife. Food says the glutton 'cause he is hungry. The son of Jah will always be filled.
See, Rasta out of church. You see? Okay.
Not the dread will ever run away. No, no, no. Not the dread will ever run away. Marcus Garvey prophesied, said, oh yeah, man I go find him back against the wall. Oh yeah, it a go beat that.
And things got rough and rough and rough. May I tell you?
Remember where the round man said, time I go trade, yeah. Every gully I go run red. Even man I need a roof
So I'm showing you the disconnection by the powers that be from America and in the Caribbean. So disconnect social science from the norm. Disconnect. So the young people them are the people them that call themselves in a music, not dealing with the reality and not dealing with the social environment and things that go on in society. You see? So instrumentals is not even there. And in my day, instrumentals were there. Instrumentals were there. So this always something that these youth are taught about, but it's not reflective and it's not coming from the R's and the directive of social science. It's not. So there's a deliberate disconnect. A deliberate disconnect. And none of the elders from the cultured attaché and ministries and leading officials in politics have not said, are not saying anything. Not saying anything. So it's either they're delinquents or they don't care. Now, make something like that happen in England or America. The punk rock came here now and it was assessed and evaluated over and over again. So it become minimized. And them allow it to run a course. And then boom. The same way them come in, the same way them fizzle out. And they had a lot to say. And they wanted to say a lot. Punk rock in England. But when reggae come to England, or reggae hit the world, and soul music hit the world from Africans, it had a new standard that same Caucasian man never knew. A new standard, a new level. And people never just go crazy. Had a calming effect on human beings. And they've examined it over the years. Now they've grabbed it, took it away from us. Are you going to blame Islam for that? Or through ignorance? It's gone. And you name it dancehall. How? Why? Who put that out there? When the decadents were bashment. Yeah. I don't hear one person talk reggae music. I hear one person talk cultured music. And even the ones them now that say them are Rasta, no, them just dread up, them just natty. You don't know. Soon from now you're going to have a degree to determine who's a Rasta far eye. Because you have European dread up and say Selassie. Hey! And you have fashion dread. And you have a whole heap of basketball guys, them. A whole heap of people in society with dread. And some of them you can ask them say, no, me no Rasta. A serious thing. So now you have a whole heap of imitations. People them find a way and take our ancestors that was fighting, struggling hard for liberation, emancipation, reparation came after that. And when you examine that, it's painful. Because it come like we halt the progression. Now you have some man them out there. That's a he, she man. And then you look on top of him head, him have dread. And you have to examine him carefully because he portray himself as a woman. Yes. I know some of them get vexed. I know that lambasting people. Because fortunately, there happen to be some of the people them that's helping some of these so-called artists. And because certain things are going a certain way now, them a ball out and make people know say, yesterday you they love me off. Rare, and tear. So it's gone full round. And we look bad. And our generations, our children. So where's the moral? Still there with formation, you know. Where's the morals? So much decadence. Where's the pastors? Where's the Boba dread? Where the Shanti dread? Where the 12 tribes of Israel? Where's all of these people? Especially those ones that keep saying that the Muslim is some insecure man. But I tell you, the man them jump from everything and still try help develop the youth them and make the politician them know say that they are the problem. And them have flat farms, you know. They're one of the biggest stations. But them have negative influence, masquerading, opportunists. And go and like see them know have glass house. I always want to trust stone somewhere, opportunists. The days is coming, man. You'll have to turn on and examine Al-Islam truly, sincerely, and not Arabism. And when you look Arab and you look Akhenaten, and you look Africa, find the Arabs. Yes, one thing's good for sure is that we, the African people, black people, we suffer the most. Yes. We suffer the most. That is factual. You understand? So what are you going to do about it? Yeah? But insecure men. We have an institution. We have wives and children. Have institution. And even when we're gone as men in Al-Islam, institution still firing, will still fire. Because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huh? That's the guide here. Not some man. Not some man that needs to be nurtured, needs substance, need to ease himself or herself. No, not a man. So that which was replicated by the Caucasian is replicated by this idea of Selassie. Huh? And now the people have come take mockery of Rastafari that dealt with the liberty of human beings, our ancestors, to live upright and know this earth and farmate this earth and any environment that we find ourselves within and grow ourselves close together. And that ideology, that understanding is required right now. Right now. And it's missing. Because one cannot distinguish who is authentic from who is not. Who's a he, she, for who's a gimmick. See? Prove me wrong. And I'll tell you a dozen things that makes 12. Mighty Diamonds.
And listen now, in the glitter of the star, rumors of war, in the glitter of the star, on daily news, tribal war. Yes, come man and man, make we live as one. Live as one, live as one. Ooh, yeah. For this could never be Georgia plan. Georgia's plan. Yeah. For this could never be Georgia plan. Lord, every other day, one better shot. Every other day, yeah, one better shot. And listen now, in the glitter of the star.
See, you read about it every day, every week. A man of mine, Muslim business, until fraudulent understanding about it. Still let us inquire properly and say, yo, them people have something going on, you know. Yeah. Come to England and find out, say, there's a whole heap of British black and Caribbean man and woman in this something they call Islam. Investigate it properly. Stand on the sideline and talk to people and that's disgruntled and want to show them backside and want to read G-string and all kind of rotted nonsense. And then, hey, yo, and then you go on like say, you're not in there and you can't stop try for go Stone Love undercover. Come, man. You think so when you know these things, you start? Come on, man. You never find one Muslim in them something there, no? As much as we play music, like me, I play music. You think say me want to go dance all? Are you crazy? My wife too sweet.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah. Did we came from two different worlds? Why we never seem to get along? Maybe you keep on doing all those wrongs. Then you want me just to understand why. Take a tip from me, I say. Them kind of things don't pay. Oh baby, oh no, please. I won't get on my knees.
Yo, Marcia, relax yourself, man. Jesus. Hey. Tip her to her.
People, what is the cause of all the trouble in the world? Things and times so hard, no peace, no day higher. The vengeance of Jaja, it must be on the land. It must be on the land, yes. What we have to do, money can't help you. Rich man up feeling, Jack and Jackson.
Just to show you still, we defend that. We not run from that, man. We defend that.
Wow! Like the lineman from Wichita. Black and I'm rude, and I'm very rude as I will tell you.
We defend that too. Rude boys. I tell you, man. Authentic. We not back down, man. Serious thing. Yes, Mighty Diamonds. I win a big friend. We kick a boy face easily, but we not big friend. And even if him have gun to hurt it, we not have no bad friend, We not have no bad friend or bad brethren, thieving, killing, murdering, and all of that something there. So any slack man come around with thing, we kick him kung fu style. Yeah.
All I need and send me cry for you.
But you see, we black people, we African people, we love them, So first thing first, we will reason about our moral excellence. We have no time for that decadent bullshit. We reason about the moral excellence and touch up he or she's soul. So we learn, so we understand. And so we appreciate Rastafari originally, not no formula, not no opportunists. Yeah, may I tell you, last for causes, may I tell you, man, problems again. Learn formation. Go dig up Siaga and ask him, what the ratty did he do? What him do? Eh? What did he do? Him and his American friend, him. What him do? Eh? You understand? You reap, now you're sowing. Kee! Did I say that?
All I need and send me cry for you. Oh, I send me weep for you.
How could children them at school, sit down in classroom and have sex and play about with each other, just like how them girls they were playing about at them birthday party or their birthday something in them kitchen? How could children at a school, in a classroom, and display themselves like that? Huh? And then you have the reverend them abuse the girls them. And the girls them behave like say them a big woman. Eh? All of this filth, decadence, take place. We ain't go charge them people. And they had a pastor, a preacher, a reverend, whatever the hell he was, talking him talk. And everybody hear him, what him a say. And nobody sit down and say, yo, hold up. Where you come from? Who legalize you? Eh? And them do so much things and make things bad. Like, we don't have no sense. Delinquency. Like we don't have no sense. Like we don't have educated people. Like we don't have cultured people. Like we don't have no moral people. Yo, something wrong with this type of behavior. Something seriously wrong with them type of behavior. Huh? And you have squaddies that go around and ill-treat people, women, elders. Not some bad man and some strong man, young, yo, elders. Just because them have some gun, boots, and, yeah, listen. You cannot give delinquents, illiterate people, opportunities like that. Because they just do what them do. And I'm saying they're illiterate. I've said it before, they're illiterate. Egotistic fools run by egotistic institution called government, backed by this country called England, who don't care a damn about what you all do. Serious thing. And then we have this thing called CARICOM. What the backside is it doing? Wait, don't have vision, don't have eyes? Don't have inspectors? I tell you. Watch it.
And the big bag song with them called Tipper Town, and I got to make it known. Big up the one like Roddy Bone, Hot Peng, and the Black Roses massive.
We've been down in the valley much too long. We've been down in a poverty oh so long, yeah. We've been down in captivity much too long. We've been down in humility and oh so long. So rise and shine and win your liberations. For now's the time when all nations must be free. So rise and shine, restore your strength and power. Waste no more time. Remember your history. We've been down in a sufferation much too long. We've been down in humiliation oh so long, yeah. We've been down in a condemnation much too long. We've been down in a segregation oh so long. So rise and shine as the morning sun that surrounds you. It's International Morality Time, where mankind must be born
See, that is reality. You see, we've been down there too long. Come.
This after the new sensation. Kali is designed for the young and old generation. And I will tell it to you, you know. Great Kali.
So hard, my friend, or you won't live out to the end. What a cool Kali.
Kali, of course, as I will tell you. You lick your pipe and make you feel fine. You smoke your spliff, it's exclusively designed.
Buy a stick, it make you slick now. Buy a up.
See, and all the International Monetary Fund loans would have been paid off just like that, one time. See, with the legalization and all of that. Never happened. Hasn't happened. Has not happened. See, delinquents don't care. Haven't got a clue. Don't call it other people them to find out what can we do, how to do, what to do. I have a thinking. See, delinquents, I tell you. So we are going. You understand? We are going. And I'm such a person, you know, that I would not run and hide from a next person who is in academia. I will not. I don't have to. And I'm not arrogant, but I can be. See? Yes, I tell you. So these delinquents and these illiterate pancoots needs to be put in their places. You understand? In their places. It's not about ABC, you know, and 1, 2, 3. But some people them get excited. Them rub some money in a them hand. Or it is told to them have £20,000, especially I come to England, you know, and the other one go America and say I have $50,000. You see? Yeah. So everybody's on a hustle. And it's not that you don't need money, you know. But money, if money is the priority of life, boy, then people that fall short. See? And for most people, and most education young people I get, is that money is a litmus test for their life. Money. You understand? So they don't know nothing about the natural resources that God has put on this earth. See? So now them come now ambush what was reggae music along with the decadence teachers and admirers and so forth, you know. Because them all start out wanting to be Sean Paul and Shaggy and Ray and get into the American chart and Ray, you know. Yeah. You see it? So then find out so them can go in them bathroom and bedroom and everything and create some nice and, you know, and try a little rap thing and so forth. And them say, yo, and it work. But the people them who supposed to be distributor, that them wanted. See? So them spin this yarn. See? So money. Yeah? The want for money. And them same children disrespect the wound that bore them. And then to make it even worse for us, girl children now do likewise. And then these places them called dancehall, a pornography and all kind of gymnastics. And in everything that them did, I've been doing, there's been some casualties along the way from this gyrating, twerking, and whatever not. Jumping off backs and ray. The whole thing. And it just keeps going. It hasn't abated. So then they put the twist on top of the twist and say, yo, Billboard, and Rolling Stones and Grammy and I know a lot of people and want to go America, like America is the capital of music. And them have to sign something. So them can't talk about certain decadence and so. And so. And then want to come to England too. And they are reaching. So they can mix up the pound and the dollar. And we just come out to the pandemic and many of us are suffer in that nearly 3 years. But you will not think so because people find time for playing amusement, big time. And we have some serious issues in terms of abuse within that music over here, sir. And big people that's made millions and have something to show for it. Have house, property, business that our youth don't have. And we're waiting to find out what happened to this case, if there's going to be any. And we still have many cases with fatalities in police custody and fatalities in areas among ourselves. And we've been disrespected, a young lady, a young girl, school girl, by police officers. And 3 weeks ago, we have some disrespect that got videoed by police against a young boy. Young boy. Him not real up or do nothing, but some people behave like, pretend like, act like they never know that on a morning and an evening, police them put our children them, take them off the bus, take them out to the bus stand, put them on the floor and put them foot on top of them and treat them so bad. Yes. This happens, are happening. This was happening, has been happening regular and it hasn't abated. So I'll tell you, formation, a serious thing. And we need to look at ourselves properly. Properly. And don't let money be the full litmus test. Yeah. Me have money. Me have money. But I work for it. I train for it. I work for it. And then, by the grace of God, I was given some good advice from my mother and then some other people on how to make good use of that money so I can live a secure life with my family. Not that I weren't living, but right now, the way things are, gosh, man, I would still have to be working. And that means an extra form of struggling. And with the economy and rare, and the government, gee whiz. You understand? So I give thanks for my mother and give thanks for the understanding that she gave to her children, and especially me. Yeah. But there's many families and people that give information and advice to others, and we haven't made good use of them. You see? Yeah, and fall short. Now, Islam just show me how to struggle. You understand? Struggle feasibility in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the guidance of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's beautiful for me. Alhamdulillah. And tomorrow me will dead in a minute and a second. Yeah. Natural. You understand? Natural. So, we are going. I want to play a tune. I want to play a tune. I want to play a different tune. With this tune.
Man battle stations torpedo. Man battle stations torpedo.
Four-man job center. Straight from the gut to the head, sir. Joe Fraser has fallen.
Down below.
Because you talk too much. I say you talk too much. Yeah. And shame come to those who always brag the most. Judge Foreman blow Fraser and make him duller than a razor. You know, like some part of Foreman make Fraser flatter. You could stay a mile and you feed them a chatter. You know, lick him, lick him. You say that you're the greatest, and now you live with the latest. Back to the gutter, to eat bread and flour. You know, because you lippy and you lippy and you lippy and you lippy. So, hey, I will not kill you because you talk too much. I said you talk too much. Four-man job center, straight from the gut to the head, sir. Go down low, brother, go down low. Because
yeah. Option and have some serious money now, especially when people find them tune and them have the original label and they don't have so much crack. You understand? So we want to remind you that when I talk about formation, establishing human excellence, looking at ourselves and realizing that we're excellent human beings, right? And we have all the rights to establish human excellence. You understand? And we have people who are lacking vision, so we need to work and rub shoulder and stand shoulder to shoulder and feet to feet with people who have vision. Not vision for make £1 million, you know. Vision to develop ourselves as in the pursuit of human excellence. You see? Yeah, I tell you, serious thing. You understand? And to look at construction and establishment and to orchestrate a foundation. Yes, you understand? Because in this creation, we're given an opportunity and then we die. See? So once we understand, overstand, accept, and appreciate that, we will strive for excellence in life as a people. You understand? And each one teach one. So we will reason together, and we will have what we call, I call, and some others call human dignity. See? Yeah, we will strive for the excellence of human beings, and we will strive for human dignity. See it? Among ourselves. And we will have value, and we will realize our worth as human beings, African people. Realizing, knowing without a shadow of doubt that we're being provided for. Obviously, the land, the earth, water, food, shelter, and clothes. All the resources that is there were awarded to us. There is nothing on this earth, that we have contributed to. Everything the Almighty, whether they believe in a God or not, we find it here. And the more we start to research, like scientists and everything, we are finding other things. We will find other things. So don't someone sit out there now and use your stupid brain and turn around and say, yo, we make computer, you know. Yo, the resources that take from a computer and phone and everything, where you get it from? You see it? That's your son or your great-great-great-grandfather, and no, yeah, that is understood what coltan and this and that and resistor, capacitor, and, you know, wire and bronze and everything can do. And then put them together, and they have this thing called African mathematics, not Greek or European, you know, African maths. But I am saying this because I know some African history. I'm not saying I know more than the next one, you know. I'm saying this because I know. Yeah? You have African maths. You have African magic numbers. But it don't mean magic like musician, you know. It means a calculation of numbers, and there's an output, there's an outcome. You understand? Not a theory, not an illusion, an outcome. No. Why is it magical? It is to make it do something for us as human beings. So here's the biggest example of that. The pyramid, that triangle, yes, is very important in it. But have we spent time understanding? Are we just dealing with the dead? And then try to configure some illusion, see? And get bogged down and think that that is just Africa, when Africa is huge. Huge, yes. So we just want our dignity, I'm saying, reestablish ourselves and promote the importance of moral values and the dignity of women, females. Yes, we love them. We're not supposed to love them, use them, and abandon them, and disregard them, disrespect them. No. Mm-mm. Because after all, you men, like myself, without a female, I couldn't be here. Without birth, I couldn't be here. And who train me? Who take care of me? I mean, all my tender cares. Who did that? The mother. Yes. Who's the first teacher? The mother. Who's the human being born with? The mother, the woman. And you're going to turn around and tell me, say, that we could have people from our lot disrespecting and disregarding with the words that are being used constantly about our mothers, about our women folks, and yet still the N word, that's been a label of the Caucasian, we have that being used, and then we fight to stop that. But nobody now say, yo, stop this, you see? Because we are playing right in the hand of those who want to redirect us. Because I am saying that Africans hold the moral league on this earth. Chinese have them cultural attributes. European, everybody have their thing, you know. And I'm saying that we, African people, ours are the our morality. Yeah. Ours are morality. See? Ours are morality. So, formation, big word, lot of meanings. And those who vex about delinquency, just have a look. Have a look. And you might find that some form of delinquency is within our families. We spend a lot of time being delinquents ourselves. So we have to do. We have to refine ourselves in relation to social justice. You understand? And develop values and worth. Cannot we're scavengers to our own people. You understand? Yeah. I tell you. So we mustn't negate our purpose and realize that we have two potentials, all of us. So we owe it to the whole. We owe it to the whole. Because we are a dignified people. But we have to behave like that. And we have to cherish that. So we need history. We don't need to glamorize the dead from their tombs and where in Kemet. We need history of the evolution of ourselves. We need to learn language and connect ourselves with our people. We need to realize our values, not value, values and worth as a people. And don't let no one belittle our culture. It's huge. Our culture is not entertainment, song and dance, and play and amusement. No. No. Culture is a serious thing. So we're talking about formation. You look upon formation have 8 different definitions. Culture have more. And for respect and morality, culture can't kickstart. Cannot kickstart. So, when me there with my thing now, I want to leave. I want to leave. Marcia. Yeah, I want to leave. You see, Marcia, I got the wrong way. So you see all them fruits up there? Them fruits are sweet, man. Yes, you have to know how to mix. You understand? We are very organic. So we are sure of certain things. So we are going with the Mighty Diamonds. And we're gone. Yo. Lovely.
Oh, I need it. I say me cry for you. Oh, I say me weep for you. Backstabbing, all you can hear. Bank robbing, looting and shooting, money grabbing. The situation here, it's not pretty. Oh no. Crime and violence take over your city. Yeah. They call over here the garrison side of town. Oh yeah. Living in the ghetto, sometimes it gets you down. Backstabbing, bank robbing,
Yes. Yes. He who fears to weep shall learn to be kind to those who weep. I tell you. See? One of my mottos, you know. He who fears to weep shall learn to be kind to those who weep. Yes, I tell you. You want it again? He who fears to weep shall learn to be kind to those who weep. And the greatest truth is honesty, and the greatest falsehood is dishonesty. The greatest truth is honesty, and the greatest falsehood is dishonesty. We're the Muslims. We're the Africans.
Oh, I need it. I say me cry for you. Oh, I say me weep for you. Backstabbing, all you can hear. Bank robbing, looting and shooting, money grabbing. Hey. The situation here, it's not pretty. Oh no. Crime and violence take over your city. Yeah. They call over here the garrison side of town. Oh yeah. Living in the ghetto, sometimes it gets you down. Backstabbing, bank robbing, looting and shooting. Yeah, money grabbing. We need a solution for this situation. Yeah, situation. So men and men can live up strong. Oh yeah. We're calling on the heads of government who sit down there in parliament. Poor people can find a cent to spend. Backstabbing, yeah, bank robbing, looting and shooting, money grabbing, yeah. Whoa, poor people may cry for you, may say me weep for you.
Yes. So the Muslims right now, we are observing Hajj. We're observing Hajj, feasibility. See? Millions of us, male and female, rich and poor. I mean, some serious rich people and poor, and you wouldn't know which one is rich and which one is poor. You understand? So the excellence of mankind, of humanity, will be seen, visible for the world to reconcile. See? Hajj, feasibility. You understand? So, we are waiting for Arafat, and we should be fasting, and we should be remembering, and we should be charitable, and we should be helping and supporting the poor and needed, not advertising, but doing. Is in. Yes, it's a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was instituted by our prophet. Instituted, you know. Yeah, you know that thing where you say you hear and you act. You're told and you act. You understand? We not just talk. We have to get away from that nonsense. See? That's not what happens over here. You understand? And then on Saturday, we have a celebration called Eid, which is the end of the Hajj. And we who is not under Hajj, but at home, as part of the whole family of Al-Islam, we will be adhering to that. So we be all last week, even and this week, up to tomorrow, we have to, and Friday, we have to be sending aid and support to families, our neighbors and our external, extended families, people who are suffering. But when I have no time for turn around and say, yo, you see them people that they could have a trick with, nah, it don't work like that. So don't bother with them something around here. You understand? And we must set aside excess funds that we have in excess of £300. Yes. So it's a serious thing. Al-Islam and caring and being charitable within ourselves as human beings. Yes, very serious thing. So when the media show you one thing, a dirty laundry they want to put out there. You understand? Seriously. And they've been nervous for years that so much of their people, especially their women, are embracing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. You understand? Because who don't want a good life? Who don't want to season their soul? Who don't want to do that? Who don't want to stand on moral grounds? Serious thing. Want to find out the purpose of life. I want to love life. Not get frightened when someone sees you sick. Want to love life. Want to appreciate life. Want to preserve life. I want to pass life examinations. You see? Life examinations. So you see all them fruits, you have to thank God. Because no man put them there for you. No. See it there? All the resources. I tell you. Forget the bottle that's up there. But what's inside the bottle is what God has given to us. And we just juice them up and, yeah. And those bottles should be bottles and not plastic. But the picture is not mine. Yes, so, yes, people. You understand? So, this is Hajj. You understand? This is Hajj. So, we dip on that big move, you know. Very nice, and Master, I can't find a tune for you, know. Seriously. Right? So, where's the guidance, you know? We are going. Each one.
We have lost it. Where did we lose our identity? Where did we lose our identity? We're running around like.
And you know the thing is really, that's not the tune. This is the tune. Marcia.
I've been trying a long time, still I can't make it. Everything I try to do seems to go wrong. It seems I have done something wrong. Why they trying to keep me down? Oh, God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the worst. Better must come one day. Better must come. They can't conquer me. Better must come, yeah. I've been trying a long time, but I can't make it. No one to keep me in helping hand. They only trying to keep me down. Oh, God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the come. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've been trying a long, long time, still I can't make it. Everything I try to do seems to go wrong. It seems I have done something wrong. Why they trying to keep me down? Oh, God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the worst, but I must come one day. But I must come. They can't conquer me, but I must come one day. But I must come. Oh, but I must come one day. But I must come. I bet I must come. Bet I must come. Bet I must come.
Yes. So that's it. And better must come. So when you look now, you see the beauty of Africa, you know. So you see the Muslim now. Yo, me I tell you, man. You see a morning. Before you see that Sunday, we are pray already. Yes. You understand? And you see how the birds them come. The birds them come out, sing. At the same time, we're up for prayer. Fajr. See it? And 1 hour after Fajr, 45 minutes after Fajr finish, the birds them start fly about. You see? I tell you. So it's an experience, you know. I'm telling you, of a surety and experience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is real. So Marcia, smile on your face. Yo, gone. Guidance.
Doesn't mean a thing to me, no, 'cause any man will pick you up just because of that smile you've got. But after knowing you, yes, as much as he's gonna leave you just like I did. Yes, that smile you were smiling, dear, that excited me so much. Yes, that I had this feeling I never had before, no, but after knowing you, yes, I had to run, yes, 'cause it's only that smile you've got. Yes, yeah. Whoa, well, yeah, oh, yeah. Whoa, that smile. But after knowing you, yes, I had to run, yes, 'cause it's only that smile you've got. Yeah, 'cause it's only, yeah, that smile you've got. Well, yeah, 'cause it's
While I was walking along one bright and sunny day, these are some words that I hear some people say. If life was a thing that money could buy, the rich would live and the poor would die. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Whoa, money can't buy life. Although I'm not rich, you can still be my wife, and let's live together for the rest of our life. I know someday, no matter what they say, before we grow old, money will come my way. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Whoa, money can't buy life. Although I'm not rich, you can still be my wife, and let's live together for the rest of our life. I know someday, no matter what they say, before we grow old, money will come my way. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Money can't buy life. Whoa, money can't buy life.
So we say, give thanks, and God willing, tomorrow will come and, yeah, God willing. So, we are going, we are Semasia, one more. Yeah, do this thing. You're following me, eh? Dennis Brown. Them say heads up, so so me I go here. Marcia say one more, and the people them say heads up. You know? Yeah. So guidance, God willing, you see us, you hear us. You understand? And don't forget to look at Front Room. Yeah, man. Online. Front Room. Yes, Front Room. We're there upon the education. We're there upon African universities. We're there upon, we're there upon enough things. But it's not me. You understand? It's the international diasporans and Front Room. See, it come like FB, which is called Facebook. It's just like that, but it belongs to African Caribbean family. You understand? And we are the contributors, those of us who want to do good for our people them. You understand? So, that may I say. Come, Dennis.
It's a serious matter. God is taking over.
See, it's a serious matter. So guidance, we're going. Gone.